Welcome back, boys and girls. Our next guest is Omar Din from EXP. Omar, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. Now, we always talk a little bit about non-business stuff to start off, the pre-real estate side of things. I know you have a bunch of interesting stuff in your life. So let's talk about the out of high school, pre-real estate Omar, a little bit about your journey to get you here to where you're at today.
Well, that's a long and rocky road. And, some of this is not able to be captured on camera. So out of high school, I was one of these guys that worked a lot of different jobs.
Nice.
And I was always that person that if I couldn't make enough money at one job, I just worked more jobs to hit those income goals. So the repertoire of jobs pre-real estate, like outside of high school, I installed high-end car stereos. I worked as a DJ, a dancer, an MC. I did in-home direct sales of a lot of different things and did it surprisingly well. I've worked in a deli. I'm trying to think what else have I done in between there. I used to work for Enterprise Car Rental. I was a personal trainer, was what I most recently was prior to getting into real estate. Nice. I did that for close to 15 years. And that covers the bulk of what happened between high school and real estate where I'm at now.
Nice. And how did you stumble upon the real estate market? How did you get your introduction?
I had a friend that was already working in real estate that had just talked to me about it, and when things had shifted, a couple economic downturns had made it hard to keep my income where I needed it to be in the personal training world, and at that same time I also had a newborn. I just saw that I hit a ceiling and I needed more, in terms of income and also in flexibility. And real estate seemed like it was going to be that golden parachute, and I jumped in. I was working real estate full-time and also working full-time as a personal trainer, and I did that for about 4 months, thinking that I was going to do both indefinitely, but the real estate took off so quickly that I had to sell off my book of clients as a personal trainer, and then was just strictly doing the real estate thing. So it took off, faster than I anticipated, and I, couldn't be more grateful that it did.
And that was what year? What year were you full-time real estate?
I got licensed halfway into 2016.
Okay. Nice. So you're not like a super grizzled veteran. You're a veteran, but you're not like one of those guys like, oh, we have these slide calculators, you know what I mean?
No, I don't get on and berate agents saying that I've been doing this for 30 years while I ask them to fax me their offers to an AOL email address. That's not me.
Nice. That's awesome. So you are like super aggressive. I know we've talked about a bunch of different stuff, and when I talk to realtors, like the stuff that you do is like way outside the box of what a lot of people do. Is that your normal, like are you always just an outside the box thinker, or did you have somebody that sprinkled some knowledge your way and you were like, I'm gonna replicate that?
So that, my methods in acquiring business are probably very different than your average agent. In a variety of different industries that I've worked in, like I said, I'm more of, I want to get in front of a crowd. I've done a lot of public speaking over the year. I've done seminars. So, getting in front of people has always been my niche. So one of my methods is that I don't really go looking for business. I go looking for just new people to be friends with. So for example, if a stranger says, hey, I'm having a get together at my house, yes. That's how I prefer to do it. I want to be friends with the person first and not just introduce myself as, hey, I'm a realtor, I want your business. That's just never been my style. Right. Even in past industries that I worked in, hosting happy hours for companies that I was trying to get the business of, we would throw these events. It could just be like a luncheon, a dinner, happy hours, or anything like that. And the one thing we're not talking about is business.
Yeah.
I want true relationships with people, and I just feel it's much better received, but outside of that, that's just more reflective of my personality.
Right. And it doesn't feel as slimy,
yeah.
Like a lot of times I'm in situations where people would ask me different things. I'm like, I don't know. Like technically, by label, I'm a salesperson.
Sure.
But I don't ever want to feel like a salesperson.
Exactly.
You know? Maybe when I'm negotiating something with someone else, I want to feel a little bit like a salesperson.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when I'm dealing with clients, customers, borrowers, if I gotta feel like a salesperson, that always feels icky to me. You know what I mean? Like pushy, non-human. I want to do relationship selling. I want to do, you trust me, so we're going to do this. Whenever because I took like college training sales stuff, and whenever in my mind I'm thinking like, oh, use the boomerang method to overcome that objection, I'm like, that's so robotic, I hate that.
Yeah, or feel, felt, found, and all those, old school sales tactics. And at the end of the day, certain sales principles that get applied is, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listening to your clients to understand their wants and needs. I mean, that's a very basic piece of sales training. That's important because at the end of the day, if I'm working to somebody's benefit, I need to understand what they want. I don't need to sell them what I want or what you want or what anyone else down the street wants. It's got to be, to their heart.
Nice. And now you as a customer, because many of my partners, ex-wife, current wife, they don't like it when I'm in a customer position because I'm a jerk customer. Have you had any situations where you've been a customer and a salesperson has done that feel, felt, found thing to you or anything like that? How are you as a customer?
I'm pretty understanding because, like I said, I've worked a variety of jobs. I've worked some menial jobs. So I understand being on both sides of a situation. And the one thing I don't want to do is, if somebody's out there trying to earn an honest living, I'm not the guy that's going to berate them.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Especially over making like an honest mistake. And for me, it's like, I don't care if people make mistakes. What I look for when somebody makes a mistake is not the fact that you made one, but what do you do to make good on it? Yeah. If you just jump right to it and you offer like 50 solutions before I even had a chance to think about, responding to something, I have nothing but the highest level of respect for a person.
Right.
Now, if it's a situation where somebody makes a mistake and maybe it was poor choice, not accidental, and then they try to leave me holding the bag, then I might have a different response, but it's really not often that people do that.
I would say I'm more, not a nightmare, but I'm a little bit more coaching the bad salespeople, like I have no problem telling somebody, yo, wait, start that over again. You know what I mean? You just came up to me and went right into a sales pitch. You didn't even ask me how I was doing. You made no connection. If you're going to do this for real and make a living on it, let's start again. Here, ask me how I'm doing. Compliment my shoes. Say something about my wife. Then ask me what I'm here for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so many people are just like, get into it,
Yeah, about the only time that like I'll have some fun with a salesperson is like sometimes a telemarketer, sometimes they just catch me at the wrong time because, in this industry, my phone is my lifeline. I never know what next client it is that's calling. So if somebody's calling up with trying to sell me on something and then, I'm on the phone with them and I get like 3-4 more calls coming through, I get frustrated quick because, I'm losing business on a bad phone call.
Sure.
So I can't think off the top of my head what the situation is that I got a telemarketer calling me for. It might have been for, okay, here's one, was your car insurance is about to expire. So I respond, which car? Now they just started stammering like, because they don't know.
Right, they don't know anything.
They're not calling on a specific car. And I said, is there anything in your script on what to do when somebody says that? And then the guy just started laughing. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And hung up on the guy.
Yeah. I like being, like I said, not abusive.
Yeah.
But keep them on their toes.
Have fun with it. That's all.
Always have fun.
And then we'll think about, all right, well, how do I handle that if somebody says it next time? But never rude, just sarcastic.
Have some fun. Awesome.
Exactly.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about your current present system. You made a move to EXP. You do a whole lot of like, not really promotion stuff, but you wrap your vehicle,
right.
You do some social media stuff. What's your strategy as far as that goes? Are you just like, hey, look, I want to get my name out there as much as possible?
Yeah, social media it's everything right now. There was a time where I didn't want to believe it, but look, I can't change the world, so I have to change with it. So I've certainly been updating my marketing tactics. So I'm not replacing certain things, but it's more supplementing, in addition to. Now all of a sudden, we're doing a lot more video content. So that's a little bit of a newer venue for myself. Now, some of the agents that work on my team, are a little bit younger, and that's more the generation that they're growing up with. So I find myself a lot of times learning things from the younger agents on my team, like coaching and tips and tricks on, pulling a larger fan base, through our social media channels.
Are you doing TikTok yet?
I have an account, but I don't do anything on it.
Okay.
I feel like I need to hire like a 12-year-old girl to show me,
Yeah.
show me the ways, because it's foreign to me.
It is very foreign. I still don't get Snapchat, although I understand why people have it. I don't understand it for business.
Yeah.
I kind of get Instagram. I see people on TikTok that are crushing it, but I haven't yet figured out how I'm personally gonna take advantage of
Like how you plug into the whole algorithm of
Yeah.
it. Right, and I'm starting to learn some things. For example, so I'm relatively new. I grew up in the Facebook generation. I know how to use Facebook inside out. And anything I release in any social media, Facebook always has the biggest response for me personally.
Absolutely.
Now, that's closer to my demographic too. I would say like 10 years older than me and 10 years, well, anybody older than me and maybe up to 10 years younger than me has the biggest impact on Facebook. That's who I naturally relate to just because of how old I am.
Sure.
Everybody gets in my ear, you gotta go on Instagram, you gotta go on Instagram. So just to test the waters, I sometimes post some idiotic things, and some things I'm scratching my head and like, why did this get 10,000 views and go viral? I still can't figure it out. So instead of trying to understand, I just replicate it.
Yeah.
I don't need to understand the why. I just need to understand, okay, I do X and it produces Y, rinse and repeat.
Yeah. And have you figured out how to monetize that yet? Not like maybe getting money from, like money from TikTok for doing videos.
Right.
But how to turn 10,000 views into 4 customers.
Not there yet.
Yeah.
Still learning.
That's my humble. Facebook is easy.
Yeah.
Because Facebook is like basic instruction. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do a post, someone relates to it, they message me and say, here, this is what I want.
Yes.
Instagram is like, I can get a bunch of people to like what I post. I can do videos that a bunch of people like and comment on, but turning that comment into a possible customer is where that's my disconnect right now.
Yeah, well, when you figure that out, we'll have to sit down again.
Yes, for sure.
Or if I figure it out, I will you'll be the first one that I call.
I like it. Now, are you able to talk about your TV stuff? You posted that on Facebook yesterday that you're doing some promotional stuff that's coming up right now?
Absolutely. So recently I was referred to sit down and interview for a upcoming TV show that's going to be based in the Philadelphia real estate market, as well as like all of the Philly suburbs and southern New Jersey, because we're technically a Philadelphia suburb. I was intrigued, to say the least, when I got that. I'm like, who is this complete stranger that pulled me into this? So I went downtown and I interviewed with the CEO of Ignite Media. So the show is called The American Dream, and they're currently in a lot of cities throughout the U.S. Real big in California. They're in Manhattan, they're in Atlanta, a lot of major cities, and they're throughout the Midwest too. There's no areas that are exempt, and it's a growing show. And they're on like Fox networks, Apple TV, Roku TV, Hulu, and things of that nature. And so what they do is it's a show where they take top real estate experts, and what they do is they take you around town and talk to you about the area it is that you're selling homes in, and you're highlighting houses as well. But what you're doing as a hometown person and a real estate expert, they're getting you to lead them down the path of, hey, why would you want to live in any town in America? And so I was just officially accepted. I'm going to be a local anchor in the Philadelphia suburban markets, and we should be seeing the first episode around the November time.
Nice.
You can stay tuned for more information on
Nice.
that. So.
Now, do you have a specific area that they assigned you to, or
No, we're open, and
Okay.
in this area too. My team covers a large territory. I mean, we cover all of southern New Jersey, which that in of itself is a huge market from the Delaware River all the way to the shore, and also Philadelphia and all the surrounding suburbs. So it's a monster territory that we cover, and I've always covered a large territory like that. So, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania myself, so I've got roots in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I've spent half my life in either of the two states.
Nice, awesome. All right, so now we're going to talk. We talked pre-Omar. Now we're going to talk post. Next 2 years, September of 2024. Give me some goals, some vision board items, some things you're going to check off on the life accomplishment board in the next 2 years.
I'm looking to open up my own office. With EXP. Just a satellite office anyway.
Sure.
As I've been growing my team, like I said, I've got a team of 4 agents now. I had one when I first came over to EXP, and so now we're growing.
Right.
I'm finding that I take pride in bringing agents on board, and it doesn't matter if they're new agents or seasoned veterans. I've got a 50-50 mix of both.
Okay.
And they each have different talents to highlight. They all bring different pros to our team. I love the camaraderie of it, and I do like being able to pass knowledge on to those that I'm grooming. But also, some of these new people bring some really fresh ideas.
Sure.
So just bringing positive attitudes to the pot, it helps everybody grow in a real positive direction.
Nice.
And I've always had that experience in every industry I've ever worked in. I always love learning something from the new guy. When they think that, I'm only going to be the one learning, no, I want to learn from every person in the room.
Yeah.
And also be able to pay it forward. So that's currently it. We may expand into more states. Pennsylvania, I've been working in Pennsylvania for about a year now in real estate, but I've always, again, that's my home state, so I've always had roots there. That's really about it for now.
Okay.
And the growth is, there's a lot of work going into that, setting up the infrastructure for it. So, outside of that, that's kind of my primary goal right now, is just grooming a really high quality, high caliber team.
What about a vehicle? What vehicle are you going to acquire between now and 2024?
I'm a loyalist.
Okay.
I'm loyal to a fault, and my work vehicle, that's a 10-year plan. My motorcycle I've had for a long time, and a lot of that was personally customized by me, and there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in it. So I don't.
No toys on the horizon or anything like that. Hey, I really want to get a classic RX-7 or anything like that, a 86 Trans Am.
So I recently bought my Sunday driver, so it's the newness of it is still there. And
what's that? What is that?
It's a Corvette Grand Sport 3LT.
Okay. Nice.
And I just got that not that long ago, and I'm still really enjoying that. So I don't know. I'm not one of those. I don't feel like I have this never-ending lack of satisfaction to keep filling with new things. I tend to get something, hang on to it, and just really enjoy it. Get to know it while I'm enjoying it.
Nice. Awesome. All right, your personal question. Sports or music?
Music.
Music, all right. So you wake up tomorrow morning and a genie comes in to you and says, you can have any person, musician, band, whatever, present, past, alive or dead, come to your house and play 2 songs for you. Who's the musician or band, and what are the 2 songs you want to hear?
Wow, that's a tough one. So I listen to music nonstop while I'm working, and I like the more aggressive metal stuff, but I also like some of the really.
I would never have guessed that, man.
I used to tour in a metal band.
Really?
I used to have really long hair.
Me too.
I've played on some stages in front of some crowds, and have opened for some big name bands.
Really?
You really have to be an old school metalhead to know.
I am an old school metalhead.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I was not a musician, but I've been to many concerts in my life for sure.
Some of my favorites. One of my favorites is Slipknot.
Okay.
I just love. There's 9 of them, and they just somehow are able to pull everything together, and there's something about their music that just focuses me.
Yeah.
And if I need to get a lot of work done, I just put the headphones in, just
a little duality,
crank
and
it.
there you go.
Yeah, and it's just there's something about it. It soothes me. Another, some of like the older stuff. Like I'm a big Zeppelin fan. Fleetwood Mac. Like they've put out some songs that like just make your hair stand on end.
Yeah.
But still within like that rock genre, it would fall somewhere in there.
Fall somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a couple people who passed away recently that I didn't get to see live. That like I really regret not seeing Soundgarden live. I love.
They're amazing live. I love Soundgarden.
Bad Motor Finger is one of my top 5 albums of all time. They are
Agreed.
Awesome.
Agreed.
And sad that I didn't get to see them.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, they're an amazing group. I was lucky enough to see them many times.
Yeah. I think my record, I have like 17, I've seen Metallica 17 times. That was like when I was a metalhead, that was my spot.
I've seen them quite a few
Iron
times.
Maiden,
So with Metallica, I liked them up until And Justice for All.
Okay.
The Black Album's where they lost me.
Yeah,
Everything before was, that's the Metallica that I liked.
Monsters Rock, that was like the end. They played Harvester of Sorrow for the first time there, and then it was like, that's not really Metallica anymore.
Yeah, I didn't like where they went after that.
Awesome. Omar, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. And we'll be back next week on the Mortgage Neighborhood.